Feast your eyes on this feast, a biomass of impossible scale. Is it millions or billions or trillions? They've come from the far northern latitudes, pushed south by the autumn chill, directly into the predator's crosshairs. Hold on tight, the mullet run has arrived, and it's a full-on sprint.
This mullet run is one of the greatest bait migrations on planet Earth.
That is a legitimate river monster.
It is one of the largest migrations of bait on planet Earth.
Yeah! Woo! Ow! This fish is psycho!
I think you've just done something the first time ever in the world.
Captain Greg Bogdan has been fishing the mullet run since the late 1980s, first from the Palm Beach jetty, then as a charter captain while still in college. A few decades later, this New Jersey native is still here. The fall mullet run is his business, and business is booming.
The mullet run really is one of the greatest bait migrations on the planet. I mean, you're talking about, at times of the year, mullet from Maine all the way through the Keys, 1,500 plus miles of fish that are all migrating at the same time, with every kind of predator imaginable eating them. It's really an epic event. To see it from a plane or a helicopter, at times you're just talking about one school being, in excess of a mile long with trillions of fish in it at one time. And behind that, there's another school and another school and another school all the way up the east coast of the United States. I've always wondered, how many actual fish are in the mullet run? And I mean, just in a day, you're seeing, millions and millions of fish in one school at a time, and it's just school after school coming down the beach.
It's early October, peak mullet run season, and this grand silver swarm has moved into Palm Beach, Florida, home base for Bogdan's outfit, Permitted Charters. Starting as far north as Maine, the mullet migrates south along the eastern seaboard to spawn offshore, heading as far as the Florida Keys.
Every predator from pelagics to intercoastal type species, inlet fish, is just all gets a search image, locks in, and just starts feeding on the mullet. Primary predators are going to be the redfish, the snook, the tarpon, tons of jack crevalles, lots of bluefish, Spanish mackerel, and black-tip sharks.
And so we embed with the baitfish, following their dramatic movements. The predators take aim, and eventually the hunters get hunted. This is no choreographed dance or spontaneous joyful upwelling. This is panic. This is survival. Sometimes the only way a mullet can save itself is by leaving the ocean. The hunt is on. A recent hurricane has churned up the sea. Visibility is low. The mullet run for their lives. A murderer's row of predators stalk, slash, and crash the bait. It's the cycle of life unfolding at breakneck speed. Chaos powered only by instinct.
Sometimes in the mullet schools, there's so many fish, they actually stir up the bottom and it clouds out the water quality just from the volume of fish that are moving down the beach. It's really neat to get in the middle of the mullet school when you're really seeing how many predators are in there, and you get up close and personal and you can actually witness some pretty incredible feeding frenzies. Baby amberjack. Instant. No bait required. So in here right now, we're gonna have 3 or 4 different kinds of bait fish coming through: pilchards, glass minnows, mullet. The jacks, bluefish, and mackerel would be on the smaller stuff. But as you come in the inlet, it drops off to 50 feet. This is the deepest part in the inlet. And I mean, you have big sharks in here, you know, all kinds of big predator fish that are just hanging right on the drop off. Bare hook. No bait required. Here we go again, bare hook. Little snook. Little guy. All right, little guy. Big Jack. He's fighting weird, not a lot of bouncing. All right.
Up next, Greg's targets go from small to medium to large. Up the food chain we go. A few solid throws of the cast net garners more mullet than Greg will need, but with so much bait in the water, what are the odds of a jack crevalle smashing the one with the hook?
All right. The mullet run is one of the largest migrations of bait on planet Earth. It's an epic event, and at times there's such a huge volume of baitfish that it's hard to get a bite. I mean, you're seeing thousands of predator fish feeding. You're talking about millions and millions of mullet in a school. So there's some little tricks that we use to single out some predators. At times when the water's clear, we'll fish a bait on the outside of the school, and some days we'll fish a dead bait on the bottom, depending on how many predators like bluefish and spinner sharks are around. So we really just mix it up, trying to get a fish to trigger on the bait that we have out there with the hook.
An aggressive feeder and a stiff battle on light tackle. The jack crevalle is fast and aggressive, and often crushes bait right at the surface. Once hooked, jacks make a long run. They tend to dive down to deeper water and use their broad bodies to their advantage.
Big Jack. Look at all of them on the beach right there. I mean, there's a million mullet literally laying on the sand right there. That's amazing. Big one. That's the thing here, you know, you never know what size they're gonna be. Sometimes they're, 5 to 10 pounders. Then you get the 20 pounders, and then some of these schools that fish are all, but 30 to 40 pounds. One of the big ones. Definitely want to be using a little bit bigger rod when you're fighting these guys. All right, let's get them back in. Kicking good. See you, buddy. All right, let's catch another one.
Day becomes night, and on the eve of a full moon, the final mission is tarpon after dark. After dark, Palm Beach lights up. The glimmer of the low-rise skyline, the yachts and sport fishers cast a glow on Sailfish Marina. But down below in the dark, the water is alive with tarpon.
Got a bite. He's jumping.
Tarpon are nocturnal and feed most actively at night, cherry-picking the bait trapped in the evening's tidal flow.
It's amazing when the fish is just about done, just what that gulp of air will do for them. The pressure of the water kind of pressurizes that swim bladder and gets a lot more oxygen into the blood. It's almost like you hooked a new fish. Oh, there he goes, Connor. All right, great fight. Nice fish. Just chafed me off. Eventually, that's the end game with the lighter leader. But great fight. That was a wild one. See him jumping out there in the moonlight. It's a big one. There he is. I can see him. Like a whole different animal when you catch them in, shallow water as opposed to deep water. And they just really dog it a lot more, where if it was a fish in shallow water, when it came up and rolled over, it would be over. But these guys just tend to keep going. All right, nice fish. Got some great jumps. Probably 70 pounder, maybe 80 pounds. Really good fighter. Sure, it's packed full of mullet. Dragged us about a mile. We're offshore here in about 80 feet of water. Yep, looks like she's ready to go. All right, as you can see, pulling on it, pretty much opened up that circle hook pretty good. So couldn't have put much more pressure on it. But that was a great fighting fish. Took us a mile from 20 feet of water where we hooked it all the way out here to 80 feet. And a lot of jumps. Did everything you want a tarpon to do.
Like most natural phenomena, the mullet run is fleeting. It's a shooting star that streaks through our coastal waters for 2 months. Then it's over. It must be seen to be believed. And once you're a believer, you may never leave.